Hello there. Welcome to Talking Balearics with me, Martin Makepeace, here in Ibiza.
Mate, Richie Pryor in Mallorca. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, thank you, Richie. Not too bad at all. I'm working hard and partying even harder, as you do.
Yes. So are you going to give us a bit of a rundown on the universe?
Yeah, I think it's going to take up the majority of my little skit today, Rich, because I think it's the only show in town this week because the feedback has been mainly positive, a few negatives as well, but as it always will be. But I'm going to do universe. Also, I'm going to talk about the numbers because I wrote a little blog last week about how busy it was in April and May, and it's come back. The official figures were out today that we were down by 7,000 arrivals in April, which I find very strange. But we'll just touch on that. What have you got for me, Richie?
Well, I was going to look at that tourism growth because I heard it actually grown. I imagine maybe you were down, but we were up in Mallorca. It grown by about 10%, I think, overall across the Balearics, but some islands may be down. But I had heard that April was really good for quite a lot of people, and May was a bit of a struggle for some people. That I've heard that from quite a few businesses that I've been talking to be honest with you.
Good.
I'm also going to talk about advertising and marketing. Actually, I'm doing a blog this week on advertising and marketing because something happened here that I don't know if you've heard about. Well, I'll go into it in more detail, but it's to do with the business that you're involved in, which I think might register in your what you do basically. And then also I've got another Ibiza story that I'm surprised you haven't picked up on again, but maybe you have and you just haven't mentioned it to me. But
I like it when you spring these surprises on me, Rich, because I like being tested. Like last week, I came through with flying colours last week, so hopefully this week I came through with no clothes on last week. But apart from that, should we start?
Also, I just wanted to mention, it got mentioned to me a couple of times when you mentioned the nudie speech was a bit pebbly, and everybody went, "Oh, nudie speech is a bit pebbly. It's not great, surely, is it?"
Oh, funny. Should we start with the big one?
Yeah, go on then.
Universe.
Tell me. So, did you end up partying to its 1999 with Will Smith or what?
No, I didn't actually, luckily enough, although I do find him very irritating, I've got to tell you, which I included in one of my blog posts today. However, I think they were working on it right into the last minute, but the overall feedback is, wow. Everyone just said it's just a massive space, state of the art, 21st century, all singing, all dancing, literally. The visuals incredible. The sound system is incredible, though there was a little bit of feedback about maybe it could be better. But I think very much, Rich, they were painting up until the last minute. They opened the doors, as is always the way over here, by the way. All businesses just want to get the doors open, don't they? But I've spoken to so many people about it. I was supposed to go last night, but I didn't make it in the end, and I kind of regret that because I would have loved to have gone. But I'll go the next couple of weeks on a quieter night because I want to go around and have a look at the place. But the feedback is incredible. They've spent nearly 100 million, Rich. I mean, which says its own story. So it just tells you that the way that they're called the Night League who operate it. It's actually owned by the Matutas Group, which we all know because they're a big company in the Balearics and also in the Caribbean. But it's operated by a company called the Night League. It's headed up by a guy called Jan Pissenden, who is a bit of a visionary. He's got Will Smith on board, which I don't particularly like myself, but hey, he's an Hollywood A-lister. And as I said, it's been open for 3-4 nights now, and everyone's just been blown away by it. So, I think it's going to take clubbing in Ibiza into a whole different stratosphere. See what I did there? Universe, stratosphere.
Very good, very good.
And they've got a stellar lineup. There you go. There's another one. Let's do
brilliant.
I know it's non-stop, isn't it? And in fact, I put it in my blog today. I said, if you look at their lineup, they've got Goetta, Carl Cox, Jamie Jones, Eric Prydz, Elro, Fisher. These are massive names on the world stage. I mean, if it was a football team, Rich, it would be Real Madrid 19 whatever.
Galacticos.
Los Galacticos, wouldn't it? Because they've got. They've got just superstars at every corner. But I think they had to do that, Rich. I think they had to throw money because there's no point spending the money on the venue if you're not going to spend the money on the artist, because ultimately it's the artist that will bring the people into the venue. I've got to say I'm pretty blown away by the feedback. But there are teething issues that there are always going to be. And as I said to someone this morning, that the jury's still out, but it's pretty much a done deal. But let's judge it after a few weeks. Let's not judge it after a few nights.
So a few questions I have. So
Yep.
capacity is what? What's the capacity?
No one's actually said the capacity. I'd like to find out what the official capacity is, because the talk on the street is at the weekend. Friday was their opening party. They could have had 15,000 people through the door. That doesn't mean there was 15,000 people there at any one time, but people are going and leaving all the time. They did the sunrise special ticket at 6 a.m. So people were coming at 6 a.m. A friend of mine said to me last night that when he arrived at Universe, there was literally thousands of people streaming outside, and he was thinking, God, it's going to be quiet in there. He said he couldn't move in there. I think the capacity, no one quite knows. They said 6,000 or 7,000, but I think maybe a touch more.
And my understanding was it was €150 entrance ticket just for a standard ticket without any drinks included. Was that right?
I think so, yeah. But that was a special one for the opening party. I don't think you can judge clubs too much on opening and closing parties, because they're just extreme. They go off the scale. What's interesting on the pricing policy for Universe, it's not cheap, Rich. It's not going to be cheap. You don't invest 100 million euros in something and give it away. You just don't do that. But the cheapest ticket for a night, like last night, Eric Pritt's opening party, you could get in for €55, which I didn't think was bad. And it goes all the way up to €100 for David Guetta. So he's obviously a world famous superstar. And interesting that they're doing something which is called the VIP entrance ticket, which they did it in High before, one of their other clubs, and it's a special entrance. You've got a special area. There's different toilets at different outside areas. It's €500, but including the €500, you get 5 drinks ticket. You get 5 drinks tickets as well, or 5 drinks, which is probably worth about a bit more than €100. So the ticket's probably €100. So for that extra €300, you're getting a nice VIP area. And I think that's the one that those people will go for. Obviously, your bog standard entrance ticket will be what most people go through, but I think people who with a little bit more money, that they're not going to spend the thousands and thousands on tables, because that's the high rollers. But I think your people who want to have a special occasion will be paying the 500 VIP ticket.
And then from an employment point of view, do you know how many people more or less they're employing?
We think the feedback was there was 400 people working there on Friday night.
Wow.
So if you think 400, but you could probably double that really if you think about the backroom staff as well. So maybe up to 1,000 people. I might be wildly inaccurate, but I heard on the grapevine there was up to 400 people working there on Friday night. But maybe they threw the kitchen sink on it. I don't know. And the biggest thing to come. The funny thing is, Rich, the biggest thing to come out of Universe is chicken strips. There you go. Did you see the chicken strip story? Did you?
No, actually, no.
So they spent 100 million on this super club, and it will, trust me, it will be voted the best club in the world. Right, I'll say that now. It will be the next best club in the world by far, because just looking at the state of the art equipment, it will be voted. If it's not the best club in the world, I'll be very surprised, but it will definitely be in the top 3. But the main thing to come out of it is that on the menu they started this. Like burger joint in there. It's called Vithio, which I've never heard of before, but I think it's very clever to have some food options in there as well. Looks like a big space, and they do chicken strips with dipping sauce for an extra €3, and they serve it with caviar for a very cool €80, mate. So there you go, chicken strips.
As you do.
So they spent 100 million on the club, and the biggest thing to come out of it on social media is chicken strips and caviar for €80. But these people are serious heavyweights, Rich. They are taking clubbing to a whole new level. From talking Baleric's point of view, Rich, we're talking probably we're going to have arguably 3 or 4 of the best clubs in the world on a small Mediterranean island. And as I wrote today as well, that it's incredible that Ibiza really is raising the bar. And it's our USP. We talked about it with Dwayne previously as well, didn't we? Where, in the COVID times, remember when we weren't allowed to dance and you weren't allowed to go to clubs, which was all very nice. Ibiza and was just a fantastic place, but it was no USP, no unique selling point. Our unique selling point, whether we like it or not, Las Vegas has its casinos, Egypt has its pyramids, and Ibiza has its super clubs. It's as simple as that.
Well, listen, mate, I'll be interested to hear how it goes through the course of the summer.
And listen, I want to take this occasion on record to invite you over for a night in Universe. Me and you doing
Oh, really?
Universe. There you go. Yeah. So before the end of the
Blimey.
season, me and you, we need to do a live broadcast at 6 a.m. from Universe, eating chicken and caviar.
That's not going to go well, is it? Oh dear, oh dear. So, listen, I wanted to touch on advertising and marketing, because advertising and marketing obviously is a bit of a cutthroat world, and it was highlighted in a newspaper story this week. I don't know if you've seen this story, but in my blog this week, I've sort of gone back in time and had a look at some of the old advertising campaigns. And so, over the last 50 years, what if you could think, I'm just asking you the question randomly because I've not asked you this before. Sure. Randomly, what would be the standout advertising campaign that you could remember yourself over the last sort of 50 years?
For Ibiza?
No, not for Ibiza.
Freddie,
worldwide.
Worldwide. Yeah,
worldwide,
it would be something as a kid. It would be Beans Means Heinz, for instance,
Okay.
like that.
Yeah.
The Yorkie. Can remember was it the Yorkie advert in the big truck? Where
so I'm thinking about when you were in your teens, when you were just sort of thinking about coming over to Ibiza. What advertising campaign was around at that point?
So,
remember?
So in the early 90s, would it be? I can't really think, Rich, but the early 90s.
If I said to you, "Hello, boys."
Yeah, of course, yeah. That was the one, the Wonder Bra, wasn't it? Yeah, that
exactly.
was Eva Herzegovina, wasn't it? Yeah, because that was an incredible. Also, don't forget, when I was in Ibiza, they did Club 1830 did a great advertising as well.
Mark, it's part of my blog.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just about to come on to.
Don't want to ruin your
No. It's part of my blog, and when I actually went back on it and I looked at it, I went, "Blimey! Could you imagine that them trying to do that now in this world?"
Are you talking about the Beaver España?
Beaver España. They also had. Girls, do you fancy a package holiday with a picture of a guy in boxer shorts? I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
And I think there was another one. There was they had three sort of main ones. You get 2 weeks for being drunk and disorderly.
Yeah, I mean it's incredible. I mean, it just shows you how far the world's moved on, though, Richie, doesn't it?
It is, and I wanted to sort of pass this to. There's a story in the papers this week about it's an estate agency company here called Kensington. I don't know if you have one.
Yeah, I know. They're not here, but I do know them. Yeah.
They're a German company. They're sort of a franchise company, basically. But they put a billboard up in Calvia that said "Game of Homes."
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. Yeah. And nice little hook. Yeah. Nice little hook.
Yeah. And that's all it was. It was the three words: "Game of Homes."
Yeah.
I didn't think anything of it until the Spanish press picked on it and said that it was actually becoming an offensive message to the people of Mallorca.
Okay.
That they were obviously saying that it was they sort of took a different lead on it, if that makes sense. They looked at it like it was this is a game and the prices are going up and up and up and everything else, which I don't think is what they sort of set out to do. If I'm totally honest,
I don't think so either.
And one of the comments, I mean, you have to go through. I went through the Ultima Hora, I went through the Diario de Mallorca, and it did get picked up in the bulletin as well. But one of the comments was in one of the keyboard warriors, as they are. It was that they were blaming the company for massively inflating prices and corporate greed is what they were accused of, basically. And I sort of said to myself, so what happened to the phrase, something's only worth what somebody else is prepared to pay for it? Do you know what I mean? Because it's not the estate agents that are pushing the prices up. It's the actual people that are buying them. If you want to buy something and you need to get hold of it, you're in that game.
Richie, my favourite phrase is, we don't decide, the market decides.
Exactly.
So it's got nothing to do with me, and it's got nothing to do with Kensington Homes or whatever. If someone's prepared to pay $3 million, then that's the market price. It's as simple as that.
It's part of my blog this week, so you read it.
I'm actually talking about two of my blogs this week, Rich, because I suppose we don't do it very often, do we? But we have to big ourselves up now because obviously we've got two of the best read blogs in the Balearics, which is nice. But I've never known a May like I've just gone through. It was hot. It was busy. There was people everywhere. Felt like July, Rich. I really did. I couldn't believe it. I haven't seen the numbers, and the numbers came out today saying that we've lost 7,000 people in April. I'm just wondering whether the profile of person has changed rather than the number of people. And I think that might be it.
Yeah, you're right. All of the main markets registered an increase with the exception of two, Belgium and the UK, apparently. The
Right.
fall in UK tourism was slightly under 3% in April. Italy registered the largest percentage increase, up 50%.
Wow.
Italians.
Wow.
While the
Okay.
German tourism maintained
So
a monthly growth of 10%.
coffee sales have gone up then in that case if the Italians are here.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's but that's what we're seeing. I think we're seeing this in Mallorca, particularly.
Yeah.
You know, particularly in where I am in Magaluf, Palma Nova, etc. There is a huge difference in what it used to be, and a lot more families now as well. I was with a guy. What does he do? He's a distributor. He distributes drinks. I was talking to him the other day, and he said April, one of the best Aprils we've ever had on record. Yeah. He said, but May has been a difficult month.
Yeah, no, interesting because I spoke to a couple of my local cafe bars and they've just said their April was similar to last year's July. My standout point will be I'm just thinking because of the clubs in Ibiza are opening earlier, I'm wondering whether the youngsters have scared away the volume of the older generation. Because remember back in the day, Rich, when we used to work in May and October, you never used to get youngsters, did you? You got youngsters peak season. Now the youngsters are coming earlier. I'm talking Ibiza here, by the way. So I wonder if it's actually not scaring away, but maybe they're going to other destinations where previously they've gone to Ibiza. I say I've never known a May like it. But so my other point as well, Rich, you can't go out around here. Obviously, I'm living in San Antonio. You can't go around without bumping into not stags, but hen parties. I've never seen so many hen parties in my life. The bride squad. I mean, God, a bride squad. I mean, I've seen that T-shirt so many times. The hen's got the white headdress on, hasn't she? And they're not just 3 or 4 people. These are big groups, like 15, 16, 17 people. We never used to get that, Rich. This is a really emerging market. Mainly long weekends, so it's a little bit of a different market. But I just think that has increased the group travel. I think the clubs opening earlier. Okay, numbers might be down, but the people coming over are definitely getting younger, in my opinion.
I agree totally. So I've got another Ibiza story for you, Mark, that I've picked up on. I don't know if you have seen this. British chef Gordon Ramsay is going to open one of his Hell's Kitchen restaurants in a hotel called The Unexpected in Ibiza.
He certainly is. The Unexpected Hotel. That used to be Ushuaia Tower. In fact, okay. I've written about this, and so he's opening a very fancy restaurant there, isn't he? Well, this is a new chain of hotels. In fact, we've talked about this on a previous podcast, Rich. I like I like your memory. It's really good. Yeah, this was the time. I
don't remember talking about Gordon Ramsay. I'll be honest.
I'm not sure of Ramsay, but we talked about Unexpected because I think it was a time where you went to Mexico, and we're talking about the Matutes,
yes.
And I said, it's a Palladium group. Basically, it's the same group, Ushuaia Group. It was Ushuaia Tower. Now it's the Unexpected Hotel. And yes, Mr. Ramsay is opening there. What details you got for me, mate?
Well, I mean, he's sort of moving on from. He is obviously big in North America. He's got Las Vegas. He's got Washington D.C. and more recently opened up in Miami. And I think it's a great coup for you guys in Ibiza, actually, to be perfectly honest, to have Gordon Ramsay open up. Sort of, they're saying it's Ibiza is the perfect destination to offer the unique Hell's Kitchen experience. He said, I can't wait to take you to the island to a new gastronomic level, offering Ibizans and international visitors something truly special. Raul Benito, Chief Operating Officer of the Palladium Hotel Group, as we just mentioned, has welcomed the collaboration with Gordon Ramsay, a world-renowned chef with whom his company shares fundamental values such as luxury, a passion for excellence, and the offer of incredible and unexpected experiences.
Yeah, well, it opens this Sunday, Rich, June the 9th. I'm just reading it here, by the way. And it says that it's...
invite?
No, I haven't, funny enough, which I'm surprised about. I know, I can't believe it. But it's Europe's first Hell's Kitchen as well. So I think you said that he was in Vegas already, wasn't he, Las Vegas? So it's obviously a tried and tested formula. It just shows you, Rich, that the evolution of Ibiza, definitely, because we would never have things like this. I remember someone asking me about this. I was like, Ibiza doesn't operate that way, but it does. This is highly corporate, top-end entertainment where people are prepared to pay plenty of money for. And Ushuaia, and we talked about, it's the same group, UNVRS, it's the same group, the Matutes group, they own that hotel, and they'll probably smash it, to be honest.
Can I just ask a question? Because sort of going on from what we've talked about UNVRS and the rest of the clubs, and now obviously this restaurant opening in the hotels. Is there an American flight coming into Ibiza on a weekly basis yet, or not?
I don't think our runway is big enough. I think we've got an issue with the runway. So
okay.
No, it comes into Mallorca, doesn't it?
Yeah,
so,
we've got one. I think it's twice weekly now. It's growing. So I'm just thinking, because obviously the Americans love to club, they love to go out and everything else.
It's a massive emerging market, Rich. I mean, I was down. I think I may have told you this story already, but I was down at Casa Jondel, which is a really fancy restaurant last year. I wasn't eating there; I was just walking past there. Actually, I dropped one of my sons off at Tropicana, another restaurant, and it's next door to Blue Marlin. It was later in the season, so maybe late September, early October. I was walking down this beach, which is a well-known top-end beach, the restaurants and beach clubs, and all I could hear was American accents. I thought, this is strange. And we had dinner, and the table next door was a couple of American girls who'd come for the weekend, Rich, come for the weekend. And also in one of my villas last week, I had a group of very nice young ladies, and they'd come from Chicago for a 3-day holiday in Ibiza. Imagine that. It just shows you the power, the worldwide power of the brand Ibiza, brand Balearics, because it really is. And UNVRS adds to that, doesn't it? So
no, totally. Well, two things that I can add to that story actually is that I was in a hotel. It was my wedding anniversary last week.
Congratulations. I did see the post.
Yeah, I was in a hotel called the Kimpton, which is a brand new hotel. Someone paid for us to sort of stay there for the day, which was lovely. But so many Americans in and around the pool area and the restaurant as well. And then friends of mine are doing a wedding for a group of Texans this week as well. Wow. Yeah. So it's an emerging market. It's
I don't. It'd be interesting. I don't think Mallorca has this, and nothing against Mallorca, but I don't believe Mallorca has this influx of Americans. But I think Ibiza and Mallorca and Formentera will get them by default anyway. If they come to Ibiza, they'll go to Formentera to look at it. But I think it's a massive emerging market, and they've changed the game, Rich. They really have, because they demand excellence. If it's not good, the Americans won't come. So it just shows you the direction the business, the Balearics, is going in.
Yeah, I mean, you say you're right. What you say is they demand good service, and also they're prepared to pay a premium for it.
Well, if you're coming from America, it's going to cost you €1,000 for the flight minimum, isn't it? I would imagine. So the rest,
if not more,
yeah, probably more. If it's peak season, it might even be double that peak season. So you're not going to really worry about the extra €500 or €600 here and there. So they really are. They're driving up prices, Rich. So it's a double-edged sword, but also they are driving the economy as well. Not massively, but they are an emerging market, I think, and I think that's why we're going in that direction.
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's it for this week, then, Mark. I think we're there.
Always a pleasure. Looking forward to. I'm in Barcelona this weekend, Rich, which you were invited for. By the way, I did invite you.
You did invite me. But I've got people arriving this weekend for a few days, so I can't. Unfortunately, I can't go. I would love to go. Actually, England play Andorra.
It's Andorra, England. The thing I was just thinking about, Rich, it's the nearest we are ever going to get from here to an England match, because the stadium's right next door to they're playing at the Espanyol Stadium, aren't they?
That's right, yeah.
Which is directly next to the airport. It's a 35-minute flight from here, so it's like a bus ride, isn't it, for us from the Balearics? We get out off the airport, we go straight to the game, and we come back afterwards. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, enjoy. It should be a good day.
Shame you can't join me, mate, but next time.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I will. All right, take care, Mark.
All the best, Rich. Great to see you, buddy.
See you soon.
Make me dance.